On a silent, moonlit night, millionaire Ethan Carter stepped away from the elegant charity gala. His heart still weighed down by lingering thoughts of his late wife. The cool night air wrapped around him as he inhaled deeply, trying to shake off the memories that never seemed to fade. As he approached his sleek black car, which was parked beneath the dim glow of a flickering streetlight, an unsettling feeling crept over him. Something felt off. He came to an abrupt halt, his breath hitching in his throat. Movement inside his car. At first, he dismissed it as a trick of the light, a shadow shifting in the darkness. But then he saw her, a small figure curled up on the back seat, her tiny frame rising and falling with steady, deep breaths. She was asleep. His pulse quickened as he carefully pulled the door open, revealing a girl who couldn't have been older than 10. Her clothes were tattered, frayed at the edges, and smeared with dirt. Her small hands clutched something tightly, a delicate yet radiant necklace that seemed completely out of place against her ragged appearance. The pendant gleamed under the faint light, drawing his gaze instantly. Ethan crouched down, studying her frail figure. Her cheeks were streaked with smudges of dirt, her hair tangled and unkempt. 1,000 questions surged through his mind. Who was she? How had she ended up in his car, of all places? And why was she gripping that necklace as if it were the most precious thing in the world? Carefully, he reached out and brushed a loose strand of hair from her face. As he did, his eyes locked onto the pendant dangling from the chain. His breath caught in his throat. That design, it looked eerily familiar. A strange unease settled in his chest. There was no way this girl had ended up here by accident. Deep down he knew, her presence in his car, that necklace in her grasp, none of this was mere coincidence. As he stared at the child before him, shadows of his past began creeping back, unearthing ghosts he thought were long buried. Determined to get answers, he gently shook the girl's shoulder. "Hey," he murmured, his voice low and soothing. "Wake up." Her eyes fluttered open, wide with fear. For a long, tense moment, she simply stared at him, her small body frozen as if bracing for something. Then, as if on instinct, she recoiled, pressing herself into the corner of the seat, her tiny fingers gripping the necklace even tighter. "It's okay," Ethan reassured her, holding up his hands to show he meant no harm. "I'm not going to hurt you. I just want to know who you are." She hesitated, her lips parting slightly before she finally whispered, so softly it almost got lost in the night air. "Maya. Maya," Ethan repeated, nodding slowly as he let the name settle. "Do you know where you are? Or how you got here?" Maya quickly shook her head, her gaze darting away. Her small fingers fidgeted with the chain, twisting it nervously between them. There was something about the way she held onto it, like it was more than just jewelry, like it was a lifeline. "That's a beautiful necklace," he noted, keeping his tone casual. "Where did you get it?" Maya's grip on the pendant tightened. "I found it," she mumbled after a brief pause. "In a box somewhere." "Somewhere," Ethan pressed gently. "Can you tell me more?" But she clamped up again, shaking her head firmly. Whatever story lay behind that necklace, she wasn't ready to share it. Not yet. Ethan sighed and glanced around the empty parking lot. He couldn't leave her out here alone, not like this. She had nowhere to go. And whether he liked it or not, something told him she had just landed herself right in the middle of his life. "Listen, Maya," he said carefully. "You can't stay in my car. But I want to help. Would you come with me? Just for now." She hesitated, her wide eyes searching his face as if trying to decide whether or not to trust him. Then, after a long silent moment, she gave a small nod. Sliding out of the car, she stood before him, barefoot, trembling and impossibly fragile. She looked up at him with wary eyes, as if expecting him to change his mind. As they made their way toward his penthouse, Ethan couldn't shake the feeling that their meeting was no accident. His mind kept drifting back to that necklace. It was too similar, too identical, to the one his late wife had cherished. But that was impossible. He had buried that necklace with her. Hadn't he? Back at his penthouse, Ethan switched on the lights, illuminating the grand yet minimalist space. Maya hesitated at the threshold, her gaze darting around, taking in the luxurious surroundings with a mix of awe and discomfort. "Sit here," he instructed, handing her a warm blanket and gesturing to the couch. "I'll get you something to drink." While she huddled under the soft fabric, Ethan carried the necklace to his study. Under the warm glow of his desk lamp, he examined it closely. It was exquisite, a delicate gold chain adorned with a crescent moon pendant, with a small sapphire embedded at its center. But when he turned it over, his blood ran cold. There, engraved on the back, were tiny, delicate initials, E.C. Emily Carter. His hands trembled as a flood of memories came rushing back. He had given this exact necklace to his wife on their 5th anniversary. After her passing, he had made sure it was placed in her coffin himself. He had seen it buried with her. Hadn't he? How then was it here? In Maya's hands. Taking a steadying breath, he returned to the living room, his thoughts in turmoil. Maya sat curled up on the couch, watching him carefully as he approached. "Maya!" He started cautiously, sitting across from her. "Can you tell me more about where you found this necklace?" She hesitated, then shrugged. "In a box. In an old building downtown. I go there sometimes. When it rains." "What kind of building?" "I don't know," she admitted. "It's empty. Broken windows. Dust everywhere." Ethan frowned. Something didn't add up. How did an expensive, deeply personal piece of jewelry end up abandoned in a rundown building? And why had Maya taken it? Before he could ask another question, his phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. "Return what belongs to us, if you value your life." A chill ran down his spine. Whoever sent this. They knew about the necklace. They knew he had it. And they weren't playing games. He turned back to Maya, his voice soft but urgent. "Did anyone see you take this? Did anyone follow you?" She shook her head rapidly. "No one saw me. I swear." For now he believed her. But he also knew that things were far from over. Slipping the necklace into his pocket, Ethan made a silent vow. He would protect Maya, no matter what. Later that night, unable to sleep, he sifted through old photos of Emily. One image caught his eye, an old family portrait. And in the background, barely noticeable, was a young woman, one who bore an unsettling resemblance to Maya. Could it be?